Okay, let's see if Twitch likes what I just did. Um, let's do a few things while I get confirmation that I'm back up. It looks like it. Okay. Okay, so hi, I'm Joshua. Um, Today is September 25th, 2016. I guess a little bit about me. I am, so I'm spacing today. I mean, primarily I'm a stay-at-home dad. Um, but when I have free time, I am a guy making art for video games. My current project right now is a game called Delver. It is a first-person roguelike dungeon crawler thing. Um, and I make all the art for it. So all the 3D models, 2D sprites, UI, level content, all that stuff is kind of is my realm of ownership. And that's what I do on the stream is every Sunday at noon. I do some work. People come and join and hang out. They ask questions. I get all sorts of folks, anywhere from players to modders to other developers, joining my stream and talking about game development in general, which is really cool. I'm really glad that this is a place where people can do that. Um, so let's just go ahead. And I always like to open up with what have we done over the course of the last week. And I have a little cheat sheet here just so we can see who's doing what. Um, yeah, let's go to let's go to the repository. That's a important thing. Sorry. Um, my son didn't sleep very well last night, and I didn't sleep very well, so I might be a little off my game today. But I'm here to do work, and work I shall. So it looks like over the last week, um, looks like I tweaked the fire effect a little bit more. Some of you folks know about that. Um, so there was some complaints about how the shop areas or the interstitial areas become almost impossible after you get the orb and you're escaping. I did some work to try to make the areas wider so you could possibly fight your way through it. But Chad went ahead and just made it so that the monsters just straight up don't spawn anymore um, on the transition levels. So I'm not sure how this is going to feel for pacing because the whole escape thing was supposed to feel tense. And now that you have these kind of breaks on the way back, I'm not sure how it'll feel, but it might be nice. It might give folks a chance to kind of restock and reorganize themselves uh, on the way back out. Okay, that's just a merge. Let's not worry about that. So Chad was he was looking this playing with fire commit is just something where he was looking at what I had done with the fire. My fire effect is a combination of I'll just go ahead and show it to you. Is a combination of a sprite and a few particle emitters. And he was playing around with that, and I'll show you. I mean, if you watch my previous stream or the archive of it, you got lots of me fiddling with fire particles. Um, and we're just playing around with like now we can say sprites start off at we're kind of beefing up a particle system a little bit so they can have rotations now, which is what they're doing here. I think it doesn't look great, but like these test rooms are just for us to exercise um, features of the engine and then how we may or may not want to use them. I mean, it's not so bad, I guess. And he's playing around with actually attaching them to a torch. I probably would need to adjust the color of the torch to make that work better because here how the particles and the fire are the same color. It kind of I'm trying to make it look like a more seamless effect. The larger particles look a little bit better, but so that's what that I think that rotation stuff was in the if we look at the git log. So rotating particles, they have a roll parameter, which is cool. They also have a particle now that lets them rotate when moving. Breakables can shake when hit. Breakable doors shake when hit. So so some of this stuff is actually new to me. He must have done it recently. So I'm going to go ahead and just take a peek at some of these particle properties and kind of see how they're laid out. So we have a particle emitter here. So these are kind of a standard start and end. This defines the animation. Scale. So so it starts at 100% scale, goes down to 10% scale. These particles are full bright because it's fire, and fire emits light. So if lighting was cast on the fire, that would look weird. Um, Lifetime is still the same. Spread. This determines how much variance is in the spawning of them. Velocity is how much velocity they start off with. How many they spawn at a time. Interval. Repeat. Persist. These are all the same. Particle physics, collide, float, all that good stuff. These are good. Um, Particle rotation, that's the new set of properties we're looking at. So rotate by variance, movement, rotate amount, particles rotate by. So particles rotate by variance. So this looks like, do they just spawn at a random angle and keep it? Maybe. So let me play around with this a little bit. So if I make it 90, oh, because this feel, wow, they're like spinning like crazy now. So this must just be, particles rotate by variance. Oh, so that must be the random element. Particle movement rotate amount. Let's make that 45 and see what that does. So that just must be, they all rotate at a fixed speed, and the variance must be how I make it all not the same. And this particles rotate by. What does this do? Sorry, I'm just kind of exploring the new features to the engine. Wow, they really spin fast there. So I'm kind of not seeing the difference between all this stuff. I mean, other than they all seem to affect the rotation. I mean, maybe smaller values make more sense. Make that 0, make that 5. Yeah, so they don't seem to spin as much there, which this is called particle movement rotate amount. So this must be the rotation that is based purely by movement, and this must be just one that's based on the function of I think lifetime maybe. So over in chat, Crippy says the flames definitely need mouths. He loves how all particle systems tend to work on the basis of, I wonder what this does, let's try it out. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of particle systems, there are, as you can see, there are quite a few properties here on the right-hand side. And a lot of it is me just fiddling with the properties and figuring out what they do. Because the challenge is that Chad and I, so we're the two main developers, we're the two only developers on Delver. And we are geographically distributed. He lives in San Francisco, I live up near Seattle. So we only really ever see each other maybe once a year. So a lot of times we communicate over Slack and other forms of chat and stuff like that. So it's one thing to read in a chat window or in a Git commit log of what was checked in versus having him sit down and explain it to me. But yeah, I'm just fiddling with the properties here, which is cool. What else did he change? Breakables can shake when they hit. That seems exciting. Let's try that out. So right click, entity, breakable, crate. Okay. Shake amount 4. So what does this do? Gotcha. That's interesting. So like, I guess that way it helps give away that it's actually a breakable and not just a decorative mesh, which is cool. Just a little bit. I think you could probably make it crazy. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, again, Delver is cartoony, and I prefer to err on the side of expressive and graphic versus subtle and realistic. So, but yeah, that's cool. It's nice that breakables can have a shake amount, They also can now have a trigger too, which is I think is very interesting. We added that. That is actually already out. That was in the last update. We kind of snuck that in last minute. Breakable doors, shake when hit, and wand trails explosions rotate. So I think I saw the wand trail stuff earlier today. So let me see. Yeah, so the particles just do a little rotate when they are spawned, which is cool. It adds a little bit of variation. Usually I get kind of in a little bind about having like pixel perfect graphics, but I think just that little bit of spin is nice. Um, I guess it gives it a little bit more weight, which I think is cool. Okay, I think that should be kind of going over all the changes that went into the game last week. If I look over at so I'm doing project management now, which means so if you see me on the Steam forums, I do a lot of replying to people's bug reports, and from that I generate actual bug tickets that go into our system. And I also track feature work the same way, so I have a list of things I'm going to work on today. Um, so let me just kind of remind myself what I'm doing. Yeah, so I'm going to make breakable pottery, um, tweak the fire, fire sprite. I've done enough firework on the stream that people probably want a change. Um, so we're going to add um, what we call the paralyze effect, which is kind of like in Spelunky when entities get hit, uh, they are they stop moving for a few seconds at a time, and there's a little like spinning star above their heads. I want to do that, so I think I'll work on um, the spinning star, and also to go along with that, we want to make a new wand that allows you to selectively stun folks. So I think I will make some pottery, make it a breakable, hook that up, make sure that works, and then move to the stun effect. So, all right, art time. Oh no, I forgot to. Oh man, forgot to plug in this bad boy. So bear with me a moment while I do some USB wrangling. So now that I've given you a virtual hug, let's hopefully the little tablet does work. There we go. Cool. So Chad is talking about uh, looks like Kirby. Sorry, I forget if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. On the escape. Oh, on the escape enemy spawning system, it might be worth testing if during the escape the enemies spawn only from the ending, therefore never in front of the player's path, and actively chase the player. That may work, but the only problem is the player is much faster than the enemies, so it might be tension for a few moments, and then once you're halfway through the level, you'll never see them again. Um, I think we ultimately need to rework how the ending of the game is, but like again we can't commit to huge changes, so we might have to be clever and work with the systems we already have in place. Okay, so where should this breakable pottery live? I think it's going to be specific to the ruins area. Um, temple and sprites. It seems like a decent place to do it. Okay, so for the temple sprites, I don't think we actually, a lot of the stuff we don't even really use, I don't think. I think we use these, we used to use that, but for example, a lot of this blood effect, we just use the one that's already defined uh, in the one that's defined already in the default set of sprites. So let me just quickly kind of cover up all this stuff I know we don't use. in the temple area, which I think is that. So I think we have a lot of room. Let me just run it real quick, just to make sure that I'm not like wrecking stuff. And that way you guys can see a little bit of what Delver actually looks like. Oh yeah, and I was playing with my configuration. Let me. So that little like the little, I guess the pre-roll, where we call it, like before my stream, I basically hacked a version of Delver to display a text and a countdown timer, and that's what that was kind of left over from. That's not what I wanted, but let me level up a few times. Armor, melee. Let me just pop on down to the temple area. And again, this is just going to be a quick check just to make sure that with me copying over all those sprites that I didn't break everything. So just kind of looking at all of the little decoration objects to make sure there aren't any giant pink graphics error textures showing up. Yeah, this is the new temple area. This is what came out in the September update. Pretty happy with how it turned out. Whoa, crap. You can actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Joshua Skelly, you can watch actually a lot of pretty much all of the development on the update if you're interested in kind of how that progressed. It was a really fun experiment to do streaming, and I'll keep doing it because I enjoy it. So it looks like it looks like I haven't broken anything, so I think I'm okay. Ooh, spike traps. Love these things. They're not. I don't think they're super deadly by themselves per se, but I think they. See, like here, they're making the situation a little bit more difficult simply by being there and making me having to try to make these tough maneuver choices. And again, I'd rather have, instead of just one extremely hard thing, is have a number of things to deal with at a time that are like each individually easily surmounted, but combined together to make things tricky. So yeah, I think that's okay. That gives you a taste um, uh, of what the update looks like. I haven't broken the world, so that's good. And I'm gonna make some pottery now, which is really exciting. So Crippy is saying one thing, there might be some sort of flow of a spawning area between the end hatch and the player, or just allowing the enemies to escape at a faster speed. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, fixing the end game is important, and just yeah, it's something that is going to is going to happen before we release. I just need to figure out what that's going to look like, and a lot of these things too. Um, is we don't like when you're working on something, like sometimes you have a very clear idea of what you'll be doing, and sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just have to get in there and start working on it to kind of figure out what it is you're actually working on, what it's going to look like. So I want to make some sort of vase, and let me also open up my my items texture sheet simply because that just has, like, I try not to add any additional colors where I don't need them. So this has a whole bunch of colors. Um, so as far as like color restrictions, most of the Delver sprites only have anywhere between, oh, probably eight colors is probably the average. Um, but overall, I think the game has somewhere near 100 some odd colors, which is, I mean, by pixel art standards, is quite a bit. But you know, compared to the total number of colors I could be using, it's not as much. Okay, let's just try just getting something in and seeing what feels correct. Might, do I have anything urn-like already? I'll probably just borrow some of the browns and start from there. Because I assume these are old, like Greek-looking vases. And I'll just kind of start that. So let me just pick a brown here and just start painting. Make sure my snaps are turned off. They are. Okay, cool. I'm not even sure how big I want it to be because most of the entities are, I think, 24 pixels tall. Not the full, not the full 32 because most of the sprites in the game are 32 by 32, and it is tempting just to use up all 32 pixels, but you do want to have them uh, have size variance, so you have to not use up all uh, all of your real estate there. Try to get this. There we go. Try to get these to do that. So looking at one of these folks. Yeah, this is the stock Delver dude here. If I paste him over here for reference, like how tall should the urn be or the vase be compared to an entity? And maybe, I mean, this would probably be pretty good size right here. So I want to have enough. I want to have enough. Looks like it's 4 wide. I want to have large enough so I can actually put, detail on it. Um, which is always a bit of a balancing act. Okay, let me just try to get an interesting shape here. Yeah, so it looks like the chat is still talking about like trying to balance the end game and how to correctly spawn enemies. So I think a lot of our navigation stuff right now is based on like A-Star, um, but the only real map is towards the player and away from the player. The KU022 says them some nice chunky pixels. Thank you. Yeah, I like big chunky pixels. That's one of my things I want to bring to Delver is it's a nice style of a pixel art. It is definitely more traditional. Oh, let me see if I can make that pop with some colors, just some basic ones, just to make it. Okay. Have a more contrast than that. Okay. And so that was, let me see, so I'm just kind of looking at the colors of this chest, and I'm just kind of lifting them to give myself somewhere to start for for this. These probably aren't going to be the final colors, but it gives me enough of a jumping off point to work from. So there's that. I already choose that's that. So I do have a slightly, so this is my brightest color here. I just want to kind of imply there's a bit of a curve to the shape. Let me do, play around with colors to find something I think looks good. And also, I don't know. I'm also a little leery about introducing trying to make the urns too curvy. Like, let me think. Because that's pretty square though. But like if I just maybe see what this looks like when I do something a little bit more traditional, like shape of an urn. Yeah, let me see. It's not so bad. Just kind of make this kind of specular highlight here follow the shape of the actual urn. Maybe keep it on that side of the dividing line there. Let me just real quick before I get too far into the process, let me just save this and make sure it's actually like the right size before I detail it too much. So let me save that. Let me pop over to the editor. Not the desktop, Joshua, the Delve edit. Okay. And also, as of the last update, you can now have breakable sprites, which is something I kind of want to showcase with this. We do have some breakable sprites in the start area, but they're bushes and they're kind of just a quick like demo of the technology. So we have breakables, bush. So that's what I was talking about. These are kind of just in the start area. Pull this up a little bit. So you have this, and you can smash it, and then you get leaves, which is cool. It has a shake amount. Does it respond? Because I mean, it's a sprite. It also has. What if I make it give it a lot more health? Maybe I can see. I mean, it shouldn't shake because it's a sprite. So oh, it shakes that way. That's cool. Yeah, that makes sense. So then for our pottery stuff, it should be temple sprite. Yeah, it should be that guy right there. Whoa, the texture is way. Is it this Y offset parameter? Why is it so? There we go. Yeah, so the Y offset was what I needed to play around with there. So I have that. And it explodes into leaves because I haven't defined. You also have to define where these jibs start, and these are from a hard-coded sprite sheet, so you have to use that one. So ideally, in the temple, we'd have something like this where there would be little clusters of urns, and you could shoot them and break them. And that just gives you a little bit more expressiveness as a player, is to be able to kind of mess with this stuff. So is the size right? I think the size feels okay. Let me put an enemy over here. and see. Oh, yeah, this is also a nice way to, okay. Yeah, I think that's an okay size, and maybe I might widen it out a little bit. That might be an okay way to go. But I think it's an okay shape. Maybe if I just spend some time actually improving the sprite, I might be happier with it. So let me just make it a little bit wider. Okay. Then maybe something like that. It looks like Tesla Coil has joined the stream, so thank you for stopping by and watching me work. I'm currently working on making breakable pottery for the temple area. And so actually, let me do something. So I don't have a lot of colors to work with over here. Maybe I'm taking the wrong approach. So grabbing this color, do that. Whoa, why is it? Oh, so no tolerance, no anti-aliasing, it is contiguous, so I should do that and that. That way I can do a little bit of AA on the actual highlight. Otherwise, I was kind of restricted there as to how much AA I could actually do. That might make the urn too dark. Maybe I'm using the wrong colors. Oh, I guess I mean, I guess the bones are an okay color. Let me just quickly copy over the colors from that. So the highlight should look like that, and then we have this. It's kind of but then it goes to purple, which is interesting. Then yeah, I guess the bones only have 4 colors, so that's pretty simple. Yeah, I'm not really feeling that either. Is there a different way to work that lets me not worry so much about colors? Maybe like this armor, do it in grayscale, and then I can tweak the colors afterwards. So that. Let me just quickly. So start over with the silhouette and make sure I like the silhouette. I might actually pull these up a little. Try to lean back and squint. I think that looks okay. And we have dark half and a light half, roughly. Let's do this. And I mean, this is kind of how I did the metal shading, which probably won't look correct because I don't want metal, but I think it has okay values as far as the color goes. So I want a highlight somewhere along like that. Then I want this as a way to AA the highlight to help it blend in a little bit better. Which I think is okay. I mean, since this is shiny, I can assume maybe there's a little bit of a little bit of a bounce light coming from somewhere, so I can kind of maybe put a little bit of that on here. So, let's make it look shiny. Only break up the cell out a little bit, the selective outlining. So I want to do something like that. This needs to, I don't know, it still looks, I'm trying to make it look round, and even though I know that, there we go, maybe something like that, and really kind of push that little highlight area back further. Maybe, I did like that little line I had here. Just put that back. Okay, so that's looking okay, ish. The colors just are wrong because it looks too much like metal. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors. Maybe the brown from the wood has 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 colors. Let me see if I can use that and maybe add an extra color in where I need it. So the highlight would be that. And then I have this kind of darker brown, which would go there. And then this would be the main color. And then I would need like a real dark. Try to think of how to. Looks like there might be. So something like that. Wait, that's from the metal coloring there. So I think the wood only has this dark bluish color here. I'm doing some hue shifting on the wood. Then if I grab this color there, maybe I can play with it to find something I like. Just kind of exploring. Maybe not so dark though. Play around with the hue a bit. I mean, I'm already shifting towards blue, so that probably wouldn't be a terrible thing to do. Maybe towards a purpley color. I tend to like the purpley colors. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, I missed a chunk right here. So let's see what that looks like. Actually, something like that. Kind of make it, maybe embrace this little lip area more than I am. Okay. And also maybe, nah. Let's save that and then pop over to the editor. Okay. And then fix the Y offset. Add a light so we can see what we're doing. That's probably all okay to get me going. Yeah, that's not the worst in the world. And then I can need to get the jibs for it. So for actually, yeah, since this is for the temple area, I could probably just borrow, because if it's pottery, it's probably coming from a similar place as to the actual wall texture, so I might be able to reuse that, just the textures. What would that look like? Okay, so let me just select this and duplicate just that, and then quickly pull the colors over from there. So that would be this here. Okay, and then the high would be that. And the AA color. That needs to go there and there. Then I have this brown. I have plenty of colors to work with here, so let's do the brown here. Like that. And I also have a darker brown and a gray. So I think I want to use this dark color here for the sellout. And then I could probably do the dark gray here. And then I could use this dark brown to do some AA, I believe. Let's see how that looks. It might look good, it might not look good. We'll just figure it out as we go. And I can actually probably pull down. Let's see. Yeah, it's probably okay. Trying to figure out how to make this little backlight not super bright. Let's make this the dark gray over here. Dark gray. Dark gray. How does that look? Let me merge down, save it. Let me go back to the editor. Just go edit, generate a room, temple. That will give me a temple room, so the colors should all kind of gel together. Let me remove the enemies, so I'm not dealing with that. I'm just looking at stuff. And then if I place it, if I place the breakable, then change the bush to that. Yeah, it still looks metal. I think maybe it's just because I have so much of a highlight. So maybe I need to tone that down a bit to make it look less metallic. Yeah, because I'd like to have like these kind of maybe just kind of idly sitting in the level, which we saw earlier with the other mage. They do give you a little bit of cover too when you're like in a mage battle, so it's nice to have. I probably wouldn't want to take the collision box pretty small, so they're not like really obstructing you too much from getting around the level. So yeah, that would like just a small bounding box would probably be fine. Okay, so I need to still fix the lighting on these to make them look less metal. What if I got rid of if I used this spec very sparingly? I think is the way to go on that. So let's see. So if I go into here, if I just fill that in, it is awfully close, so it's hard to tell that there's even a. So if I got rid of that entirely, how's that looking? Did this? Just again here, I'm just playing with color. There's kind of exploring, seeing what I think looks good and what does not look good. And I can use this to sell out on it, or to AA, excuse me. Okay. Then I can just have just a tiny little. trying to give just an indication of some form. Yeah, it's just that the colors aren't very, very different. Let me. Again, playing with colors. Um, that was like that. Then I use the gray here. Use this for AA. Maybe pulling it more in the browns helps get break the metalness of it. Maybe I should also get rid of this little bounce light here. Maybe that makes it feel too shiny. Because this should feel fairly flat, fairly matte. Um, oh, so Crippy is making a joke about how because right now I'm just basically reusing the bush and putting a different sprite on top of it. So when you break it, leaves jump out everywhere, and he's just imagining that they're used to store cabbages and not whatever these things would be storing in the temple area. Maybe bones, maybe human remains. I don't know. Let me. So that's the wrong direction of that ship. That's technically lighter. So if I pull these down. So the Dice Goddess says these textures look really nice. Thank you for the compliment, the Dice Goddess. Yeah, I spend a lot of time trying to get these textures right in a place where I like them. So sometimes that does take me a while to get there. Mm. So I'm just kind of squinting my eyes now and just trying to see how I'm liking the shapes that I'm just kind of haphazardly creating here. It's getting a little bit better. So that's supposed to be, yeah, so Duffus Digital saying the urns are most likely mummy organs or human ashes, historically accurate. Yeah, I mean it's historically Earth accurate. I'm not even myself. I'm not really quite sure where Delver takes place. Um, being a fantasy game, we can be, um, we don't have to be limited to um, uh, staying on Earth. We can kind of set it wherever we want and make up a lot of the stuff as we go. Which I don't know. It's I don't know. In some ways, it's more interesting. In some ways, it's kind of a cop out, right? So if I made the gray go all the way around, it makes the sellout look less interesting. Then I can go through and I can AA this a touch. A helpful thing to do in Photoshop is you can go to Window, Arrange, New Window. And then what I can do is I can actually pop up, actually, let me do that the other way around. I can pop up this new window over here and I can say put it at 200% zoom. So I can work and see it up close and I can see it also zoomed out at the same time, which which can be helpful. So yeah, because I don't need all that real estate. I can move this up here. I could kind of slide this in down here. Yeah, that way I can work at multiple resolutions simultaneous, and that can be nice. Yeah, it's looking okay. I'm just not really digging the cell out this highlight color here. I can just play around with colors here. I think would work better. Um, is it a hue color? Is it a hue issue? Maybe is it a saturation issue? Do I have these inverted? Or are they? There's my yeah. So it looks like this gray might actually be brighter than the internal color there. Um, Let me try working on it one at a time. Um, let me pull the brightness up on this a bit, and then play the sat, and try to find, yeah, this yellowish color may be okay. Kind of go from like a yellow to a brown to like almost a red. Have a nice hue shift. Maybe that's a pretty basic hue shift, but it might be helpful. Okay, and then similarly here, let's just play around with some of the colors. Again, turning up the saturation, so we actually pick up some of the colors as we get brighter. So we want this to roughly be, then maybe it's looking okay. Another handy thing to do is you can throw on a hue saturation layer. What are these called? These are called adjustment layers, I believe. And what you do is you can just take the saturation all the way down, and that way you can flip it on and off. And it's a quick way just to make sure that your values are correct. So that way, you know, this is brighter than this, which is brighter than that, etc. And I can see, you know, for example, that this is a lot brighter. So maybe if I just let's see, if I select that and then I bring down the lightness maybe a little bit, it'll help try to get this in a good spot where it's not super bright. And then if I flip back on color, sometimes that helps. And also let me try playing around with the shape of this too. It should follow the shape of the urn more closely than it probably is. I don't want to. That seems okay-ish. So let me see. Blah, 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 blah. Cabbages deserve proper burials. So John Cootie official says, "What are you making? What game am I making levels for?" Yeah, actually, I'm not really right now. I'm kind of doing level design, but mostly I'm doing pixel art. So I'll get rid of the level design hashtag in my my broadcast, so that's a little bit more accurate. Um, so yeah, so it's a first-person roguelike. It is available on Steam Early Access. So if you're in Early Access, you can support us there. We also bundle the editor. So I do pop into the editor now and again and do work. So you'll see me use that here in a little bit. But yeah, we give you the editor when you buy the game. And apparently my Moobot just finally decided to wake up. For the first hour of the stream, it was not hanging out in chat, and now it is. So I just have a simple bot that just drops info every now and then. So hopefully it can answer some of the questions that folks have just about in general. Um, okay. Kind of playing around with some of the cell out here to see if I can make it less obnoxious. Again, still not loving these highlight colors. Are they too saturated? I don't know. Um, Again, I might be trying to get too complicated with the shapes as well. Um, yeah, I don't know if I like the yellow now that I see it. Let me shift it more towards red and desaturate it a bit. Okay, well, let me just, since I'm kind of getting a little stuck, let me just start playing with other shapes and seeing if that's my issue there. I'll just start by kind of maybe blocking in some silhouettes I think are cool and not worrying too much about specifics. Because I had this kind of idea for like this weird shaped, like a really kind of a top heavy urn looking thing. Um, I don't know. That just looks weird. Like if I were to go the other direction, you know, and kind of make it look like it actually would balance out. Even if I made these handles, it would still be a bit strange. I think that was one of the first designs I was working on was that, which is kind of okay. Um, Maybe if it was smaller, it would make more sense. Um, what other? Because like a lot of times you can have something like thick at the bottom and it has a little top, right? Just exploring shapes here. It kind of looks juggy, kind of. Just add a quick little bit of color. Hmm. Yeah, maybe I'm trying to overcomplicate these things. You know, they are just little smashables that you really don't care too much about. Um, ugh. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, there might have been. I think in the past I tried making pottery too, and I never was ever. I was never ever very happy with how it turned out. Again, maybe I'll just go back to try to problem solve some of these bigger issues I'm having with shape and form. Just they don't like. Let me just get some reference up, right? Let's just start looking at like Greek vases have. I'm just worried about adding too many angles that I can't really render correctly with pixels. Um, they have interesting handles though. Um, Let me just see if I can get this going. Get that there. It's going to pop up over there, isn't it? So let's just hide that and just see if I can get inspiration from these real world things where some of these handles almost come up at a crazy angle like this. I guess that would make sense if you're lugging them around, right? That the handles would be more upward facing than to the side. Um, I don't want to be super. I don't want these to take up too much real estate though in the game either. They can't be that big. I don't think that makes sense. Um, these really are just small little things. Something like that maybe. Mm, mm. That's interesting, I suppose. I mean, it's. Let's see. I could a quick variant of this could just be where the things are smashed up against the actual sides right here. So if I just shove that over there, and similar on this side. Maybe just call it out with color. I think. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm feeling that. Sorry, today's been kind of a wishy-washy um, stream. I'm just trying to I'm trying to solve these design issues, and sometimes I don't always have a clear direction when I start on things. I just kind of have to muddle my way through it. I'm looking over at so just Frederick over in chat is saying it looks like there's more dithering on the tiles I have in Photoshop than I would see on Steam. Is this coincident or a change of art direction? So the new area has more dithering than the first area, and a lot of the stuff on Steam is primarily of the first area, and a lot of the art on Steam is actually older. Um, uh, yeah, I have been adding more dithering as I've gone on because I have been working on the project for almost 3 years now, which is a long time, and you know my art has changed over time. Um, So yeah, at first I didn't use a lot of dithering, and to be honest, it was kind of I guess I was a little insecure of my art at the time, and um, when I added the dithering, my style looked very similar to another artist's who goes by the handle Eldrone. And our art styles are similar, and I just people started mistaking me for him, and I got insecure, so I immediately pulled the dithering out. Um, but over the past few years, I've worked it back in because I think it looks I think it does look nice. Okay, so I do like the shape of that. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work. Yeah, maybe I should focus less on actual, not that. Just try to get some cool shapes. Cool shapes. And then once I have cool shapes, I can figure out how I'm actually going to render them. So that's cool. Then maybe similarly, maybe kind of have like a little theme here, how they're maybe there's just one. It's like that, but without the handles. kind of this chunky little pot. That might be okay. Just making, because I'm just kind of riffing on this one thing that does this design. I think is okay. Let me, if I brought the neck down a little bit, I could also. Sometimes the Alt key on my keyboard gets stuck, which is obnoxious. That's all right. Again, what I like these handle things. Can I do more with the handles? That maybe. Yeah, maybe these are okay. Yeah, I can close out this. I think these are probably all fine. I wish I felt more strongly about these than fine, but that's where I'm at right now. I can't seem to find good colors for them. So Bloke with Superpowers has just joined the stream. He says, "Howdy, hello. Thank you for joining my stream and watching me try to make art." So that's looking okay. I still think I like maybe this one and that one the most, and I do like the fact that they're a bit smaller than that. So let me. So we merge that down. I can get rid of that. Delete that adjustment layer. And then I'm going to position these so that they should be correct. Then these I can just get rid of. Okay, got those saved. Let me just see if the silhouettes work in the editor. So let me pull up the editor. Okay, edit, generate room, temple room, or Shift G as a shortcut. Cool, so it looks like there's an open space there I can play with. Let's remove the enemies so they don't mess me up. Get rid of that altar. And then place entity, breakables, bush, temple sprite. Let's place that guy. Let's get him back up on the floor. And pull in his collision box quite a bit. Actually get close so I can actually see. Cool. Then make a fix the collision box there, and then duplicate him, and then pick that second sprite there. I think that would be okay. And again, they're hard to see because right now they basically are the same colors as the floor. I guess I can really quick. I can just change the color of the floor so we can see the darn thing. Yeah, I think that's a good size. I don't want to stress too much about. They are packed really full apparently. I don't want to stress too much, so let's make them simple, then move on. Somebody suggested I make them gold. I'll just make them gold since that's the theme of the area. That works for me. Again, trying not to waste too much time. I've already wasted plenty of time on it. So with the gold main color is kind of this color here, and now that since it is gold, I can get away with it being shiny and not lose any sleep over it. Okay, is that? Okay. Okay. So let's hit this dark brown is somewhere where the shadows would lie. So I'm going to put some of those in. Maybe throw in some something like that. And then figure out where the highlights would go. Pop those in. Something like that. Maybe something along those lines. So I like how this is kind of flat on top. Maybe I should also imply this guy is maybe a little bit more flat on top. Then grab the orange. And also, I guess right above me is how I did those guys. So it looks like, is the dominant color wrong? What did I do? The dominant color of those guys is this orange here. Yeah, let me try that. So make them. Is I pulling different colors? That seems really strange. Um, then the dark is that. So dark isn't as dark, which is, I guess, nice. Okay. Then I have this brown color here for my shading. I apologize if you guys can hear my neighbor outside washing down something. I'll shut the window. I'm not sure what they're doing. Probably some sort of yard work or something, which probably isn't terribly interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm just wondering if I'm ever going to be happy with these little things. They're killing me today. The answer is probably no. I'm just going to play around with colors and see if I can find something that I do like. Okay, so people said they didn't hear my neighbor. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah. So why? Maybe I just need to try to talk through my process. Why am I not liking the way this is turning out? Like I feel like it's too flat, maybe. Like it's not. Like I feel like there should be some more um, form to it, and it's just feeling so flat, and gross, and not good. So if I want to imply that that's sharp, then I don't need that sort of. AA in the corner there. I can let it be sharp. If I do kind of change how my cell out's going up here, or my selective outlining. Looks a little slightly better, I suppose. You imply that there's still a neck there. The handles are cool. I want to keep them. I just need to figure out how to render them so they actually look like handles and not just weird things. Maybe that's okay-ish. The light. Just trying to make sure my light source agrees. So I can't have dark there. Light. Maybe imply that it does a reconnect. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm obviously blocked on this. I've spent the majority of my stream doing this. Let's not do this anymore. Again, it's just not working out. What else can I do? What else is on my list of things to do? Animation stuff, which I'm just not super great at. Let me look at some more level stuff I can work on maybe. Let's open assets, generator, undead. I'm trying to think of what. Actually, I have too many editors open. Too many editors. So let me just look at how many of each I have actually. So let's look at. I have 3 corners, 3 ends, 3 hulls, 3 intersections, 6 starts, 2 tri-intersections. So maybe ends is something I can actually add more of because you're going to see 2 ends basically each time you play. So maybe having a little more variety there would be good. So let me kind of refresh myself. What they look like. Okay, so this one has the big head. You kind of come from this crumbling area into here. There's the stairs down. If I remember correctly, you can actually see the stairs down as soon as you enter the room. Yeah, stairs down is right there. That's another thing I could take a look at too is in our editor, it's very confusing. Maybe there's a reason for this, but there is a marker. One is for stairs down, and one is for exit location. And one is correct and one is not. So I hope they use different. I think they actually do use different graphics because actually in our um, should be able to find all of our editor textures here too. I think yeah, right here is our editor textures, and it looks like they reuse the same. Um, dang it. Okay, so let me look for exit location. So it looks like stairs down uses sprite 6 and exit location uses sprite 6. So let me just fix this. So um, let me pull these in. These are actually done in a vector illustration program and saved out at a smaller res, but they're still like on a grid and they can still be referenced that way. So I want to make sure. I just want to make sure that I'm always using the right right marker. Okay, so let me just duplicate this one and push it down there and try to get it roughly lined up similarly. Let me just see if I can just make this one red so I know it's not right. Okay, and then this is 0, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, I think. 20. So if I change one of these to sprite number 20, launch our editor. If I open up one of the end rooms again, then I should be able to see what is the correct one. Yeah, so it looks like exit location is correct and stairs down is not correct. Okay, so I think probably the easiest fix is not to actually have that, but to use, I think we have a question mark for stuff we just don't understand. So I think if I just make that marker a question mark, I'll know that it's not the right one. So let's go to GitHub. Discard those changes. Let's not worry about those just yet. So close that. Let's open it back up again so I can see which one so it's 0, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11 is the question mark. This one's 6, and that one 11. I shouldn't mess them up anymore. And I'm not quite sure what the difference between the two entities is. I just know that if, for example, like I think like exit location is unique per the floor you're on. So the floor only has one exit location, but if you add a stairs down, they will always be a stairs down. So if you ever see like multiple stairs down in a on a floor, it's because I messed up and I used the wrong marker. So stair down, yep. Okay, cool. So at least I know now that it's not right. So it's always exit location. Cool. So let me just commit that real quick, so I know the actual correct marker to use when building rooms. Okay, let's commit that. Okay, then let's actually make an end room, or at least get one going. I do keep my streams limited to about 2 hours, um, and we're coming up on the hour and a half mark, so there's about 30 minutes left. Okay, so here we go. So this is just a big head. So guys on the side to kind of ambush you when you get up to the exit location. The other ones, yep. So they have these little thingies here sticking off the sides, which is cool. And the third one has, yeah, these giant heads in the lava, which I think is interesting. And it's trying to do a little bit of like storytelling, but not explicit, just these big heads. So, what would be a cool thing? Um, like I want it to be. I mean, because these are, you only get a few of these per run, so I can be a little bit more like scenic or like set dressing with these things. Um, Sometimes it helps just to hit Shift G and just have the generator mix stuff for you. Like that that is not a very exciting room. Yeah, let's see. Just trying to think. Like, so a lot of them tend to be like you go to, I could do something similar to that where it's, yeah. So if you look at some of my, so I'm just thinking real quick, just kind of in my head and out loud. So if you look at some of the intersections, they have this interesting structure where it's like it's a 4x4 room with these kind of columns on the side and these paths leading up to it. So maybe I could do something similar where I have but I want the player to always kind of be going down, but maybe I can work that into it. Maybe have like maybe a something bigger than a 4x4, maybe a 6x6 room or something, and with the exit in the middle and have it all the way at the end. So let me just try kind of doing that. So let me open up an end. Undead ends. Sure, this one. Because I just want to make sure that I get the connection point correct, because the editor assumes that um, that one wall is always open. It looks like it's assuming it's this one here. So let me just delete everything that's not there. Just kind of select these, and then I can go ahead and clean up all these things here, these particle emitters and meshes that I probably will need eventually, but right now I don't. I need to figure out how to select this guy. There we go, right there was the sweet spot. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to make sure that along this this axis, I think it's the y-axis, that I have a too wide area. So let me just go. I'm going to go ahead and just fill that in and make my too wide thing there. I want the upper wall to be that. Is that right? Actually, let me just do it real quick. Just mark this, and then I'm going to make a big like lava-y area, and then I'll go from there. So for lava, upper wall, lower wall is rock, ceiling is rock, and floor is the lava texture. The lava texture is special because you have to pull it from the T1 texture sheet. Otherwise, the engine doesn't treat it like lava. So let's go ahead and just do a big chunk like this as lava. And I want you, like, because this is an end, I actually want you going down to feel like you're actually descending into the dungeon. So let me just grab the center here and just pull it down. I don't want to go too crazy with it, but let me build the room that we're actually working our way towards over here. So kind of, I said it was going to be a 6x6, so let me see, here's um, 3, maybe 5x5. That would think that would work out better for the grid. Um, so there's where it would sit. Actually, I can make it a little bit. I'll make it wider, I guess. That's okay. Actually, I need to make sure it lines up with the. So there we go. So that would be a 4x4, I think, because I'm assuming that. Let's just do this. So there's a path that comes in. That's okay. Let me see. So path down to there. That is. So let me just pull this up above the lava to a nice place. So right there. Let me pull this ceiling down a bit. There. And then I want these stairs to go down. I want them to be traversable. So that's what's really going to dictate like how steep these stairs are. And a quick little trick I've learned in the Delver engine to make stairs is um, you can grab the edge here and you can drag it up. So we have a ramp, and then what I can do is I can just flatten out the ramp with the F key. So I can just hover and hit F. Um, you don't need to even select with the cursor. You can just highlight with the mouse. This is just a quick little shortcut way I figured out to make stairs. Let's see if these are actually traversable, because that's also important. Yeah, that's cool. So this is nice. So right now this is like probably one of the more steep areas in the actual temple itself. So this is cool. Let me just wall up. So wall up this area. So yep, we got that. Descending down, which is cool. These areas tend to have, so their features tend to have, they have like a little dip here and a larger, actually, I need to make the ceiling correct here. So let's grab those textures, make a big selection here, change the ceiling to stone, or I was the wrong stone, so again, make a selection, change the ceiling to this brown ceiling, because we keep the ceilings and the floors the same texture here in the temples, which is okay, I think. Let's raise this up. I usually do it a few. Let me see, is the height of this okay? This might be, I think it's a little too tall. I can pull this down to make it feel a little bit more closed in. In Delver, I try not to have too wide open spaces. It's just kind of an FPS thing. Like if you have wide open areas, it's not always an interesting like combat situation. So I try to keep them somewhat constrained. This is going to be more of like a like also a visual thing too, where you have these like maybe these cool lava things on the sides as you kind of come down into it. So have to keep that in mind as well. Let's go ahead and do. Let me see. Let me add here. Make the upper and lower walls something like that. And then I could just smash these together to make a column. but that way I also get a unique texture on the top and the bottom, which is nice. And over here, select this one, shift enter to paint and not actually change the geometry. I'll change the lower wall to be that texture also. The nice thing about that texture is it's defined to randomly swap out with another one when I play. So when I hit P, you should see it change, maybe if I'm lucky. I swear, it's not doing it now. I'm not sure what's up, but yeah, it ought to do that. Oh no, maybe. I think actually no, we changed the default theme for the editor that it's no longer the dungeon, so it won't do the gen infos correctly anymore. We had switched it over temporarily uh, for the update, and now we've pushed it back. So if you actually want to see your gen infos work, you have to either define them in the dungeon gen info, or you have to just launch the game. So we do these structures. This is kind of just the style I kind of happened on as I was making the temple area. And then these come up a little bit to usually, let's say there. Again, I was using the texture to ballpark how high I need to raise these. There we go. Let's pull that like that. It should be the same level. Yep. There we go. Pull this one up. Yeah, sometimes if you're working, because this is so much lower than the actual z=0 plane, sometimes the selections can be a bit fidgety. So sometimes you gotta do what I'm doing, where you just keep selecting, like you move the camera up above so you can get good selections. I think I want to throw braziers here because I like how those look. So into prefab generator temple brazier. This isn't like a set piece, so it's okay if it's a little bit more decorated. Plate. Nice. You got those there. It would also be cool to have some maybe up here as well. To kind of, I guess, direct you both directions, like to and from. So I can go ahead and do that. It probably wouldn't hurt to actually have some more headspace up here when we actually start, because it's pretty low right now. So there's my handle. There we go. Let's go up like that. And I'm just gonna, let's see, grab those textures, paint those, paint those. Paint that, pull it up. Same here. Let's try to find a good height. Let's try that. Actually, I can do, let me add a little bit of a ceiling here too. So grab that ceiling like that. And I'll just pull this down a bit. And then I'll just push this up, because usually, wait, actually, yeah, so most of the intersections are designed for this area tend to be, there are 5 of these tall, so it's not quite 2 units high, so I just make those agree with each other. Okay. Make sure the ceiling on this area is correct. Okay. That's looking all right. Um, Actually, we go ahead and I think that's good. Let me add the brazier there. Generator, temple brazier. And then on the X, duplicate it. You know, there's still a bug where I think like static meshes don't show up until you actually uh, like go into play mode or you do you mess with the lighting a little bit. Okay, so this guy I don't want to. So the ceiling needs to stay the same. So there's the rock texture. And then let me just bring this up. Maybe down to here. So I want to have maybe just a couple extra braziers to make it look interesting. Okay, grab both these guys, duplicate along the Y, then down on the Z, and quickly hit toggle the lighting to see where they land. It's too low. That might be close, just a little high. Pop it down one. There we go. I think that's right. Cool. So we have that going. We have that. Sometimes I put these, in other areas I put these columns, so let me see how, that might be a fun little thing to put somewhere along the way here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks like, so maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 here-ish would be okay. Yeah, that will probably be okay. So do that. I'm gonna make them gold for fun, but I don't want to paint adjacent. Let me turn that off. Then I can just kind of do something like this. And pull the ceiling down. Pull the floor up. There we go. That's looking okay. I'll probably decorate them with like little statue heads here, so it looks a little bit more interesting. So it's a thing where as we're going down, we should probably lower the ceiling too, so it's not this giant open area, but I want some, so that maybe the ceiling itself needs to be at a slant down as you go as well. Yeah, because I like the downward motion. It definitely indicates to you that this is like this is where you need to be going to go further into the dungeon. I think let's see. Yeah, I'm liking how the braziers are looking. It's still pretty dark in there. Let me just add some torches. Just put some torch markers here and here. So that should lighten up things quite a bit. Yeah, well, it does, but you get some weird artifacts. Yeah, let me not do that. Let me put one. Sometimes I don't really like the symmetry. Sometimes the symmetry looks off. So I'm just going to move them around just to, so the lighting still looks interesting. There we go. But the area is still lit up enough to where you can actually see what you're doing. So there should be this exit location somewhere in here. I'll just put it off to the side. Marker exit location. Let me save this as a file. Save as. And this should be end number 4. 4.bin. Make sure I haven't accidentally saved over the incorrect one. So there we go. Thank you. Yeah. So Jopis, great. Says nice lighting. Yeah, people tend to compliment us on our lighting. A lot of the lighting is just because it's kind of crazy and non-realistic, and we have lots of colors. I think it's fun. I mean, it works with our cartoony world, I think, just fine. So, Yeah, so this is cool. Going down here should be an exit location right there. And the engine itself will put down the correct texture because there's a chance that this end will get generated not actually used. So we don't want to have the texture that looks like you should be able to exit when you can't. Okay. What else? Do I want anything else here? Because this is, I mean, it's more like set piece and theming than actual interesting combat. Because right now it's just a long straight shot down. Which I mean, if there's no enemies here, that's okay. But generally for the end pieces, I do like to have lots of enemies. Um, and this is just just a straight linear corridor. It's not a fun experience. But I do like the fact that you can walk in. You should be able to look down there and see um, the exit. Maybe. Again, maybe throwing another torch over here too would, because I really want the exit to be visible. It's just, and again, you also the fog will make a difference when you actually get it in the when you're actually playing the game. Maybe. Okay. Let me see. Cool. Let me start. Let me just start noodling with some of the cave stuff to try to make that look interesting. Um, let's grab this. I'm just gonna try to lower some of these areas so it's not super. Try to make it feel a little bit more enclosed and not super open like it is now. Okay, let's pull that down. Okay, just kind of match that up there. And same right here. Yeah, I guess we got to be careful about some of the textures here, right? So pull this down. Yeah. Okay, so I need to fix the texturing here. So let me G to grab the texture, and then I think it's the upper wall texture I need to change to stone. Yep, that seems right. Okay, let me just real quick try to block some of this stuff in. So grab this edge and pull it down. Same thing over here. This similar to how I did the effect for the stairs. This could be just a quick and dirty way to get started on the shape of the room. So if I would play, so that kind of brings that in a little bit, which is kind of cool. Then I need to do something similar over here where I can grab this chunk here, maybe lower this down. Then grab this similarly, and pull this back corner down. Here, pull that down. And this is just a little speed thing I picked up along the way of actually making so many of these cave tiles. Because doing them individually takes a very long time and it is very time consuming. Okay. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it's starting to pull it in a little bit. I'm not feeling as open. I'll probably add some rock features as well. If I just really quick, I can just go through and just hit Shift F real quick everywhere and just flatten out the ceiling. because even though the Delver engine can handle these nice smooth angles, I try to have it have a little bit of a terraced effect, where we do have some angles, but it still kind of maintains the harsh blockiness of it. And it's just purely a stylistic thing. Um, there's no real technical reason for it other than I think it looks interesting. Okay. So that should have flattened out a lot of the ceiling. It looks like I missed a lot of tiles though too. I mean, I just very haphazardly just kind of try to slam through this and get all the stuff going. Uh, yep. So adding some variation. I mean, I might have to be okay with this just being a very linear exit. Though I might be able to do something interesting too. Maybe having stuff come off the sides. Not entirely sure yet. So Knipe is asking on chat, are we still using libgdx? He remembers seeing this somewhere on the libgdx site a long time ago. Yeah, we still are using libgdx. Which is the Java framework that we have used to build the Delver engine with. I'm just trying to get all these little ceiling bits flattened out so I can keep playing with them. Okay, so let me start pulling in stuff. So lower wall needs to do that. Floor needs to do that as well. Yeah, let me start by just grabbing some chunks and just straight up filling them in. Because I want to break up the kind of the blockiness. Sometimes if you open up the map, you can see exactly the shape of how we're doing things, and I want to break that up a little bit so it looks a little bit more organic and less. So it's harder for you to see the tricks that I'm actually using. Okay. Then I'm just going to start pulling some of this stuff in. And yeah, it's starting to bug me a little bit. I don't know why it keeps popping up like that, but it shouldn't be. Oh well, not gonna let it get to me. Okay. Just adding more variety to the walls. I have about 5 minutes left, so if you folks have any questions or comments or concerns, just let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep working on this room. Again, just trying to add variation to the ceiling heights of the cave area to make it read like cave walls. Just pulling it down, just trying to simulate how these natural formations actually look. Maybe I could do like a stalactite on this side too. Those are always kind of fun to do. So set that like that. Then maybe something like that. So I have this nice big structure here. And I can pull this bottom part up, pull the top part down, and do the same thing over here. Up and down. Just kind of work on fading those out. Actually, it might look interesting too if it's not actually connected. So I can do something like that, and then just really add an angle to it so it looks like it's broken. So I can just grab the edges like here and here, and kind of open it up in a similar fashion there. So we get this broken, or this kind of stalagmite thing over there. So hopefully the fog and the lava will backlight it so it looks more interesting than it does now. Let me pull that up, pull that down. It's kind of detailing this a little bit on the sides. You can see those are the most important sides. I guess you can technically see all of the sides. There we are. Cool. Just kind of noodling on this, make it look nice. Maximus the Greatest says, can you show us the foresty section? Do you mean the start area? I think that's the most foresty section there is. Yeah, I can show you that before we end. So let me just save this room, and then just launch into a little bit. So there's just about a few minutes remaining. So thank you guys for hanging out with me on the stream. Sorry if I was a little bit stuck, but I just kind of got to kind of bang my head against my issues and kind of slowly solve and my problems, and then get these designs going and then get them into the game. Yeah, but so Maximus the Great was asking about the start area. I mean, it's probably pretty dark. It's pretty dark on my screen here, so hopefully, guys, you can see it okay. What questions did you have about the start area? Or did you actually mean like from the editor's perspective, like if I went into the editor and then I open up the start area, that might be a different way to look at it as well. So Maximus the Great is asking, how do I get the tiles to flow together like the grass to overlap the road? So he's asking about specifically this right here. And this is basically it's just like doing a normal pixel tile set that you would do for any other game. So what it is let me hit G to grab the textures, and if you look at the texture sheet, it's kind of hard to see here, but we do have we have all the different configurations of it. So if I were to let me just create a new file, new area. So there's less distractions, and I'll just carve out a new spot. So let's make the floor grass. Okay, so we have grass and rock. So what you can do is you can make a selection, and then change the floor to this this dirt texture. And then what I've done is we have this this texture here that is um, an edge. So I'm just placing the edges. And then we have another texture that is, it's like a corner. So I'm just going to place my corner textures. And then what you can do is you can just put the cursor over the texture and hit T to turn the texture. And I just turn it until it lines up. So it's a little bit of a manual process, but for specific rooms, it's not so bad. Also, if you wanted, we have like the other corner as well. So if you wanted like that, you can turn that. Then you can. So if I select this and grab that, and then I can again paste these corners here, so you have these corners flowing together nicely. And that's just how that's done. So I just if you look at it's easier to see from the actual texture sprite sheet because that when I built it, it makes more sense than how it's being shown up in the editor. So if you look here, I made the solid dirt. Then I have like the inside corner, the side and the outside corner, and then I created some with rocks on them just for variation to break it up. But yeah, that's how that's done. And also similarly in the mine level, we have this this like train or this minecart track texture, and this is how it's done. It's just very similar. And then you just use the T to turn the texture to make it line up how you want to. But yeah, no, thanks for asking the question. Again, I think I have I mean, it's after 2 o'clock and I have kind of a hard 2 o'clock today, so I need to get off the stream. But I wanted to just to thank you folks for showing up and supporting me. Thank you for supporting me by buying the game, which is really awesome. Right now, I am a stay-at-home dad, and this is my only income. Fortunately, my wife is able to support us, but anything I can bring in helps. And also, thank you for just hanging out with me, motivating me to work and to stay on task, and I appreciate that. I will be back next Sunday for my regular stream, which is at noon. I will try to do a bonus stream this week. So I haven't mentioned that at all this stream, but I do bonus streams. So usually in the evenings, whenever I have free time, I will just quickly fire off a tweet, and I will start a bonus stream, which is just doing more work just outside my scheduled stream times. So if you want to be notified about those, the best way to do it is either follow me on Twitch or follow me on Twitter, and that's how you'll be notified about those. I think that's everything. I have my little cheat sheet over here. But yeah, again, just thank you, folks. Have a great Sunday, and I will see you hopefully sooner than a week, but if not, next Sunday.